Hello and welcome to Living Proof, the Isaac Newton Institute podcast. My name is Sarah Khan, and today I have the honor of speaking to Ekaterina Eremenko, a remarkable film producer and director known for her compelling documentaries that bring the beauty and complexity of maths to life. Her latest film, Portrait of Olga Ladyzhenskaya, offers an intimate look at the life and legacy of one of the 20th century's most brilliant mathematicians. As the film is being screened at the Isaac Newton Institute for Maths in celebration of International Women's in Mathematics Day, we're thrilled to have Ekaterina with us to discuss the making of the film, the extraordinary woman at its heart, Olga herself, and the powerful intersections of art and science. Thank you so much, Ekaterina, for joining us today. So before we dive into the film, could you tell us a little bit about yourself, what inspired your journey into filmmaking, and what kind of stories are you more passionate about telling?
Yeah, thank you. So when I was young, I was very passionate about math, and I was going to a very special math and physics class in Moscow, and I was enjoying this very much. I was preparing to be scientist. I went to Moscow State University, and I finished with diploma cum laude. But and then I was already in PhD program, but it was happened that in my family happened big tragedy, was car crash. My mother was killed in car crash. And I just took a year off from academia, from writing PhD, and I thought I just need some break. But in the meantime, I was very skinny and tall, and I was asked to work as model. And because of this car crash, this situation was so terrible for me. I was like crying every single day. So I thought for me it was kind of healthier to change all people around me who did knew this tragedy. And I thought I would do it for a while, maybe for a few months, and I will go back to university, but it never happened. Mm-hmm. And then I started to do modeling, and I was doing quite professionally this. I was also traveling around the world. Yeah. And whatever you do, you want to do it good. Also, you want to make better editorial, better photographer, better fashion show. And it was quite a long time. And after the modeling, many girls, they want to be a photographer or want to go to a fashion editor, like for magazine, usually when you would ask girls. And I don't know why, but when people ask me what I want to do after the modeling, I start to tell I want to be a film director. Okay. And it was kind of brave this time,
yeah,
but
absolutely.
Nevertheless, after the modeling, so the modeling also doesn't finish, doesn't drop quickly. It's like you just start to slow down. You see like you don't have so much job. And at the same time, I was asked to work in TV in Russia as moderator. And then I kind of come back to Russia. So my main place of living was already Russia, and I was working live show in TV, and at the same time I was going to film school, study filmmaking. Mm-hmm. And also in this TV show I was working as a reporter. I did lots of reportage, and I think it was very good training because I was learn how to do fast, because it was live show, so you don't have so much time. You really need to, you should be very efficient, and you should put things to the end. Yeah. And it was very crazy time. I was studying filmmaking, working as moderator, and also doing reports. So it was kind of free, usually full-time day activity. Yeah. And then I met my German husband, and then I went already to Germany. I was pregnant. I was going to get my first child, and in Germany, I started to do big films. So my first film was in Germany for art. It's a very nice channel, channel which financed by French and German television mainly. And then I did like 3 films. But still, math was always kind of my first love. Yeah. And then my very good friend from university, Yuri Chinkil, his name, he's well known in math world, many people know him. He asked me to make something for mathematician because he saw my films before. Yeah. And I thought, okay, and it was not so much money available, so no one professional producer would not do the film for this money, so I decided to produce film myself. Right. And it turned out the best things I could do, so I did film which called Colors of Math.
Oh,
And
okay.
until now, it's many people around the world asking to see this film. It's translated to 17 languages now, and it was running in cinemas every day in many cities. So it was really best things. And I never thought this. I mean, a producer want to people make the film about for audience, but
Yeah.
difficult to calculate.
Yeah.
And after this, mathematician from Berlin University, who worked for it was a big grant called discretization in geometry and dynamics.
Okay.
So they asked me to work with them, and we became also friends. And Professor Alexander Bubenko, he was Sprecher, was like head of this big grant, so he hired me also to do films about their project, about mathematician. And this one I was doing for 11 years. And now I'm working in Max Planck Institute in Leipzig, and recently I'm making a film about Felix Klein. So
Wonderful.
it was very, very long answer.
No, that's really inspiring, from maths to filmmaking, modeling. I think you've done it all. Wonderful. So coming back to filmmaking, what initially drew you to the story of Olga Ladyzhenskaya?
When I was doing films about mathematics, at some point, people who was involved in Abel Prize ceremony, they asked me to make portrait of Abel Prize laureate. And usually this is people already like quite old because they get this award for like life achievement.
Yeah.
And I think they told me about Olga Ladyzhenskaya because when I was making their films, I asked about everything which was interested. And they told me about Olga Ladyzhenskaya, and I was completely inspired of her personality.
Yeah.
I also remember when I went first in my Mittag Leffler Institute in Stockholm. They have Mittag Leffler. It's similar to Isaac Newton Institute. It's a place where people coming for some time to make research. They're not permanently working usually, and they have lots of portraits of Sofia Kovalevskaya because she was because it was Mittag Leffler who invited her, who gave her job as professor, and she also died in Stockholm. But also Olga Ladyzhenskaya portrait was also in Mittag Leffler Institute. So I was always, whenever I had chance to meet with some mathematician who had chance to meet you, I was always asking about Olga Ladyzhenskaya. And then Mathematical Congress, World Congress, supposed to be in St. Petersburg, my friends, Andrei Akunkov and Stas Smirnov, who was very much involved in the organization of this Congress, they wanted to establish prize of mathematical physics, which would have name of Olga Ladyzhenskaya, because 2022, it was exactly the 100 years since her birth. Okay. And it's all the time when Congress going to new city, usually the city established new mathematical prize, and usually International Math Union kind of keep this prize. And this is supposed to be prize name of Olga Ladyzhenskaya, but because of events which we all know, in 2022, Congress has been cancelled in St. Petersburg, but nevertheless, I did the film. And then Organization of Women in Math and Mathematics, they kind of contact me, and they asked to show a film in Helsinki because some of the events from Congress was in Helsinki, so we had premiere of this film in Helsinki.
Right, wonderful. So for those who might not be familiar with her, how would you describe her contributions to mathematics, especially her work on partial differential equations and fluid dynamics?
What I know, she was working in Navier-Stokes equation, and we speak about this in the film.
Yeah.
And what also I heard from the people, it was not in the film because I cannot prove it, but she was in the shortlist of Fields Medal. But she was very, very charismatic person, and because I met many people who knew her, I think she was very, very strong mathematician and really a very exceptional personality.
So, Ekaterina, tell me, were there any particular challenges in translating, all these mathematical concepts and her story into visual storytelling? How did you go about the research?
Oh, yes. So the thing is, so when we wanted to do film, usually you prepare Congress in advance, yeah? So we wanted to make film, I think we started 2019, and you know what's happened? COVID happened.
Yeah.
So we started to filming, and then it was lockdown.
Okay.
And this is why we could not visit all people whom we would visit usually normal way. And this way we decided to kind of concentrate on founding archive. And it was lots of people helped me, and I should name Yuri Matiasevich, brilliant mathematician. He until now I think in St. Petersburg, and he kept archive of Olga Ladyzhenskaya. So his contribution of giving me this archive was enormous. So we worked a lot. Funny things actually in this film, you see the people who tell some story in different time. Like like one person, you will see him in the film, he start to tell like anecdote about Olga Ladyzhenskaya when you see him like 20 years older, and then he see him almost an hour time, and he's still the same story.
Right.
I think it's kind of paradox, because very often, one thing, of course, you have memory from the past. Another thing, if you have photos, very often people, instead of really having memories, they remember photos, like, or remember stories which were told before.
Yeah.
I think it's a very, I don't know if it will be coming to the question, but I want to tell you about premiere of the film.
Sure.
Because it was very, very funny things happen. I really love the story. It's absolutely Hollywood story. So premiere of the film was in Helsinki, and prize of mathematical physics, name of Olga Ladyzhenskaya, was given to great mathematician, female mathematician Svetlana Zhitomirskaya. Okay. Actually, this prize not supposed to be given only a woman, but it's happened that it was given to Svetlana, and Svetlana told the story, which I absolutely love. So she told when name of Ladyzhenskaya was very much around her when she was very young, very small, because her mother, she was first math professor in Kharkiv. Svetlana, she now working in States, but she originally from Ukraine, from Kharkiv. Okay. And her mother was very much in the circle of Ladyzhenskaya. And she told that very often Mama of Svetlana would go from Kharkiv to St. Petersburg to meet Ladyzhenskaya to work with her, and she would take small sweater with her, and that this girl would not disturb her. She would send her to Hermitage or to Russian Museum. So Svetlana, she never met Ladyzhenskaya because she was always going to exhibition that she would not disturb a woman doing serious math. And now, like 30 years later, she got first prize of Ladyzhenskaya. I think it's fantastic. It's absolutely
it's a wonderful story.
Great story, yes. And Svetlana, a fantastic woman. I'm very happy. She's great.
Wonderful. So how important do you think it is to tell stories of women like Olga Ladyzhenskaya in a field that's historically dominated by men? Also, how do you feel having the film being screened here to celebrate International Women's Day in Mathematics?
I think it's actually very important to show this woman like Ladyzhenskaya. And this topic of women in math, it's very hot. Lots of people discussing this now. And then I ask some strong women mathematician how they deal with this topic. Very often I hear that they, and I understand it completely, they don't want to be regarded as women. They want to be regarded as scientists. And they told they don't need quota, they can do it well. But I think what is important to show this woman is role models. And what I understand also by studying of life of Ladyzhenskaya, it looks like a lot of female mathematicians also would coming to her. They would go around her. So somehow it looks like you will see in the film Uraltseva, Nina Uraltseva. She's a fantastic woman. She was her co-author.
So were there any moments during the production of the film that really surprised you or emotionally moved you?
Yes. Funny thing is this question I heard a few days ago because we were showing this film in Zurich, and first I didn't know what to say, and then I remember absolutely amazing things during the shooting, because in some point in St. Petersburg we was going to Steklov Institute, where Ladyzhenskaya used to work. It was her main working place. And so we was meeting people who met her, and then at some point the guy, he said, okay, I can show you the room of Ladyzhenskaya and she worked. Let us come with me. And you see this in the film. So we're going to the room, and then on her table where Ladyzhenskaya used to work sits some other mathematician, younger guy. And then he told, yes, it's a table for Ladyzhenskaya, look. And then he opened table, and he opened, box? And then we see paper of Ladyzhenskaya. So she passed away 2004, and until now, her handwriting papers was lying on the table.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I think it could happen only in Russia. People very relaxed, and it was really funny. It was amazing to see that really her working paper still on the table. Nobody took it. I don't know now. Maybe now they have some special archive, but it was. And you see this episode in the film.
Oh, okay. I'm looking forward to that. So are there any other lesser-known women scientists or mathematicians that you'd like to explore in future projects?
Yes, I think I'm curious. I'm also speaking with people. I'm like to hear stories, and yes, so I would like not to speak too much about my future project until it's not starting already production. But I'm very open to hear more stories.
Wonderful. Is there anything else that you'd like to share before we go to the conclusion of the interview?
Yes, maybe. So I mentioned, I started to tell, but I didn't finish that. Like
Yeah.
in this film, you would see lots of material which is they're not supposed to be for this film. Like when I worked when I did short stories for Abel Prize ceremony, there was great people, and they told me also about Ladyzhenskaya, and it was much before, lots of years, many times before we started this production, because I was just curious, and then we used this material. So you see, like many people, some famous mathematicians tell about her. And also another thing that I should mention, I think it was very good, and maybe the last moment when we was able to do this film, because when we did this film, it was still possible to meet people who knew her very well. And now, I think from this film, I think 3 people pass away already.
Right.
Louis Nierenberg, he's not there with us anymore. When Natalia Fock, she's mother of Mary, very good friend Volodya Fock. She was best friend of Ladyzhenskaya. She's not with us anymore. And Virshik, of course, great mathematician, great guy, he was also not there. So I think it was important when we catch the story and we had chance to speak about Ladyzhenskaya.
So, for people who won't be able to attend today's screening, is there a way they could see the film or arrange a screening or maybe get in touch with you?
People don't see now film. Still, I think film will be possible. If you want to have single screening, it's possible to see film, because in the project where I used to work, discretization, geometry, dynamics, we established online cinema where everybody free of charge can register themselves, and they say they want to see this film. They would get password from me and they would see it. But if you want to make public screening, then better to contact me, and I'm very glad to show a film, and I'm really like to be usually for the screening, to be for Q&A.
Thank you so much, Ekaterina, for sharing your insights and passion with us. And we hope that this conversation would really encourage more people to discover Olga Ladyzhenskaya's story and celebrate many women who continue to shape the world of science and beyond.